Sony වසර 3ක වගකීම සමග සිංග වෙතින්ම පමණයි.
Minister of Finance and Mass Media Mangala Samaraweera issued a special statement today saying that he was alarmed by recent criticism levelled against two local journalists who contributed to the New York Times article. While calling on relevant authorities to immediately launch an investigation into these allegations by members of the joint opposition and Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, the minister also called on officials to take legal action against the responsible individuals without fear or favour. While strongly condemning such practices, the minister said that the leadership of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna must take full responsibility for these attacks and ensure that there is no repetition of such behaviour. Minister Samaraweera also went on to emphasise, as the current government respects fundamental freedoms, civil liberties and media freedom, those who threaten these aspects must be condemned and held accountable for their actions. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe also expressed views in Parliament in relation to Minister Samaraweera's sentiments.
New York Times පුවත්පතේ වාර්තා කරලා තිබ්බා.
The New York Times article says that $7.6 million were given by China to former president's presidential campaign in 2015. The investigative report clearly mentions what this money was spent on. Will the government take action to appoint a presidential commission to probe this?
බොන්ඩ් කොමිෂන් එක පත් කරා වගේ කොමිසමක් පත් කරලා විභාග කරන්න ආණ්ඩුව කටයුතු කරනවද නැද්ද කියන එක අහන්න කැමතියි.
ආධාර පක්ෂයන් නෙමෙයි අගමැතිතුමාට කැමති නම් පමණක් පිළිතුරු දෙන්න පුළුවන්.
Following Deputy Minister Ranjan Ramanayaka's police complaint, the police has given the case to the CID for further investigations. We will take necessary action once that is done. In the meantime, the New York Times editor has said local journalists have been threatened. Now, this isn't right. If you're talking about democracy, you must then withdraw that threatening statement. Meanwhile, convening a media briefing today, the joint opposition refuted allegations of intimidation against local journalists who provided information for the New York Times.
We deny any involvement in intimidating or threatening any media personnel by the JO or any of the JO members. And also we would like to point out, we were merely trying to connect the dots between the local two journalists who supported this document, who have been working for the last few months with the Honourable Media Minister Mangala Samaraweera, his media personnel Ruwan Ferdinand. It also shows that the same article with the same details were published in the Daily News 3 years ago on July 22nd, 2015 with the heading CID bust massive money transaction during presidential elections. If there's an investigation that the CID was conducting in the last 3 years, as the Daily News had mentioned here, then we would like to know from the government what was the outcome of that investigation. Plus, we would like to invite the International Affairs editor, Michael Slackman, who has issued this statement on behalf of the New York Times, to come to Sri Lanka, and also the journalist who has published this, Maria Habib. We will bear all the expenses, and we welcome you to have a dialogue with us, and we would prove to you this article was based on merely a government article that was published 3 years ago.
There is an allegation of $7.6 million which has been invested for President Rajapaksa's campaign in 2015. We would like to request the government to have a fair and independent investigation on that matter. We have no obligation to that.